This webinar is being recorded, and I will upload this to YouTube for everyone who is late or who cannot attend this morning uh, session. First, I'm going to uh, give some idea about what uh, we are doing with the Cochrane translation and what is Cochrane itself first of all. If you want to have any questions, you can really type in whatever your questions in the chat box while I'm speaking. I'm now sharing uh, my screen, and I hope everyone can see what I'm sharing. Since that is oh, uh, can everyone see my slide here? Because it doesn't appear. And, can everyone just type in the chat box whether you can see my screen here? So since the slide does not appear, we'll stop sharing my webcam, and then no, no. All right, I'll just I'm not sure really if anyone can see my screen here. So I'll try again. Okay, I'll just start. I hope everyone can see the screen. What I'm going to talk, hopefully in the next less than 1 hour, is about the translation initiative of the Cochrane collaborations. Before I move forward to speaking about translation itself, I'm going to give some priming about what is Cochrane itself. As you can see here, Cochrane is an international non-for-profit organization which aims to help people make well-informed decisions about healthcare by preparing, maintaining, and promoting the accessibility of systematic reviews of the effects of healthcare interventions. I'm sure many of us have understood what is systematic reviews. Uh, it it gives decisions of the efficacy and safety in terms of interventions of that interventions. And now Cochrane is also moving to diagnostic accuracy review, which is out of our topic today. So many of us knows Cochrane as a journal, which can also be correct. In Cochrane, Cochrane gather together all uh, scientists, medical practitioners, and everyone interested in doing systematic reviews to collate all evidences about certain interventions and do um, systematic review and decide on the efficacy and safety of certain interventions. Cochrane helps to do that in preparing, maintaining, publishing, and also promoting those systematic reviews. So in this scenario, you can see that the systematic review, the outcome of the systematic review itself uh, is not something which is important only for academians, only for scientists or medical practitioners, but also important for the public at large. So then this translation activity aims at that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. This is what basically Cochrane is doing. This is basically the questions that Cochrane posed. How do we know if one treatment will work better than another, or if it will do more harm than good? The first question is about efficacy, and the second question address safety. The Cochrane, so there is one feature in Lancet published several years ago that mentioned that the Cochrane collaboration is an enterprise that revolves the Human Genome Project, its potential implications for modern medicine. So I think I have problems here. Um, and it it has been known now that one full-text Cochrane review has been accessed somewhere in the world every second. Who are accessing the resources in the Cochrane review? They are researchers. Cochrane reviews reveal where new research is needed and where no new research is needed. And then healthcare providers. Cochrane reviews can be used to make decisions about healthcare for an individual patient or for changing practice. They are used in clinical practice guidelines as well. And it's also even used by policymakers. Cochrane reviews are used in policy briefs, funding and regulatory decisions. And on top of that, which is related to our aims in the translation initiative, is that the public at large and the healthcare consumers themselves, they access Cochrane review. That's why um, Cochrane uh, asks all review authors to actually provide the so-called plain language summaries, not only abstract, but plain language summaries. Summary of their thick review paper um, in a very concise manner and understandable language, layman language. So that is, you can see that it is available in every Cochrane review. What Bahasa Malaysia Translation Initiative is doing is actually translating that plain language summary only. So we are not going to translate the whole review article, but we are translating only the plain language summary. Not even abstract, because abstract also contains um, technical terms which are not accessible to, which are not understandable to layman readers, but we are focusing ourselves on the plain language summaries. Right. So now, uh, from this point onwards, I'm going to give some presentations uh, about the translation initiative. Um, the translation initiative itself has developed the so-called translation portal in the Cochrane.org website, which you can have a look here, which you can click. You can anytime access the website, um, and it's also worth reading the some of the frequently asked questions in the translation portal that you haven't already read. Um, I'm going to give you all the this uh, presentation slides later on, because this presentation slides and all other resources contain links that will bring you to more detailed information about the translation initiatives. Uh, the translation coordinator worldwide is Juliana, which is based in Germany, and we also have translation support officer Haley, which is based in the UK. Uh, they are all, you can see their email here, and they are all available uh, if you need any help or you want to ask any questions. Of course, you can also ask questions to me or to Ms. Mila through email or WhatsApp or any means available. Here's some history about the Cochrane translation strategy. In 2014, Cochrane approved a translation strategy with the aim of increasing its capacity and impact in non-English speaking countries. To do this, Cochrane rely on the hard work of our teams around the world. Uh, Almost all of them are volunteers who translate Cochrane reviews into various languages. The majority of our projects are entirely volunteer run, thanks to our local teams, including Malaysia. Now, worldwide Cochrane translation initiatives have published more than 15,000 translations on our websites to date in various languages. Malaysia, uh, 1 week ago, just reached one milestone by translating 200 plain language summaries. Um, there are two main actors in the translation initiatives. One is a translator and another one is an editor. What is happening with the Bahasa Malaysia translation project is that we have quite a good number of translators which are doing their job well. Many of them are medical students who volunteer to translate plain language summaries. Uh, but we have very limited up to now, up until I offer this to our USM staff. We have very limited number of editors. So our translation workflow is that once it is translated, it has to pass uh, so-called QC, quality control, to make sure that whatever has been translated properly according to the real meaning in its English version. Uh, Once a PLS, a plain language summary, has been translated, it has to go through editing process. So now we are lacking uh, a good number of translators. We only have about four up to before uh, I'm recruiting new translators, new editors. Right? So uh, with the coming of the new editors, I hope we can clear out the backlogs. Now, because of many translators and a limited number of editors, we have so many pending translation works waiting to be edited. So our backlogs now are in the editing process. We really need this backlog to be cleared out so that we can increase our production of translation publications. The the translator's job, is to make Cochrane reviews available in your language, in Bahasa Malaysia, in Bahasa Malaysia. As our reviews are large documents, translations are usually limited to abstract and plain language summary parts of the review. In Bahasa Malaysia, we only translate plain language summary. We don't translate abstract. It aimed at broad readership. PLS, or plain language summary, convey the review question and the findings in terms that are accessible to consumers and non-expert readers. Uh, Translators and editors will work closely with the translation project manager, me or Miss Nila in the Penang Medical College, for your language, who will be your main contact and advise you which reviews are available for translation if you are translators. So as I hope uh, as the new recruits, uh, staff from USMs, I hope, can focus their work on editing the translations. But I wouldn't limit, if you are interested to also get involved as translators, you can also translate. But please bear in mind that because of our problems with the editing staff, if you translate a word, a PLS now, then for that translation to get published, that may take a long time because we have to move that through editing process, which we are still having problems now. But if you can help us at the moment to focus on the editing step, then you can help us clearing out the backlogs. Once this is cleared out, then we can make the whole workflow from translation, editing to publication becomes faster. Right. You work at your own pace. We for both translations and editing in Bahasa Malaysia, now we are giving deadlines, but I would say it is a soft deadline. For editing particularly, once we assign a PLS to you, then we give you about 2 weeks, not about, we give you exactly 2 weeks to work on that. If we don't see that is done within 2 weeks, then we will uh, withdraw that and then assign that to other editors. These deadlines also work for translators because there are so many translators. We are not putting uh, an entry, a PLS entry with translators for for too long time, because then other translators who might be interested in translating the same one should be given a chance as well if the first translator doesn't do uh, the job in a specified time frame. Right. Now I have seen that, yeah. Mhm. Uh, your here it mentions about training and support for translations, for translators and editors. Um, uh, your translation project manager, which is me, will help you with one is linguistic guidance on how to translate or edit in your language. So frankly speaking, yeah, Dr. Zul, you are asking if I can make you the presenter. Um, you can post questions by putting the questions in the chat box, and I can answer the questions later on. Thank you. Um, one is linguistic guidance. We don't have a very strict linguistic guidance now with with Malay. Really, our standard for whether the the language is acceptable or not is the editor. That is our standard. We have been thinking about putting up some standard about, like for example, how the word review should be translated into Bahasa Malaysia, because some translate that as ulasan, some other translate that as sorotan, and other will have that. What I insist on the editors and translation and translators in doing is that if you decide to, 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 for example, translate review as sorotan, you have to do that consistently throughout that particular plain language summary that you are working on. If you are deciding to use the word ulasan, use that consistently throughout that particular uh, uh, PLS, plain language summary. That's it. Using SmartLink, our translation management platform, we are using so-called SmartLink, which is a crowdsourcing platform. I will give you some idea about how to do SmartLink. I will also give you some a link which goes to a detailed instructions about how to work with SmartLink. Answering your questions, either technical or linguistic, yeah, of course, you can send me email anytime. Uh, Reviewing your work before it is published on the website. Yes. Um, uh, the translation workflow goes in this way. Once it is translated, it will go through editing, and once it is edited, it will go back to me or to Miss Nila, and we will check the completeness of the entry, whether all strings has been translated or not, and then whether this is one thing that I particularly am very concerned, is whether the translation notes have contained your name and the translator's name or not, um, for acknowledgement. I and Miss Nila don't really put attention on the quality of the language, because we rely the quality of the language on the editors. We have a plan to really do a quality audit on the 200 plus translations that we have done, but we have not really have come up with a specific idea on how to do that. But we will do that. I believe with that audit in the quality, we will have idea of how to improve the way we do our translation initiative in Bahasa Malaysia. So, uh, next. Uh, you can take a look at the SmartLink guide. You can see here that this slide contains a link to go to SmartLink guide. I will give you this SmartLink guide link after we are done with this, and I'm going to also prime you with the essential tools in the editing process with the SmartLink. SmartLink also has its own online support center, which contains numerous guides, articles, and sources. To get started, when I sign up for a training webinar. From time to time, Cochrane Central in the headquarters is organizing a webinar, which you can sign up as well. Translations of in Bahasa Malaysia and also in all other languages will be published in the Cochrane Library and also in the Cochrane.org. Uh, so now, if I'm going to show you later on how it appears in Cochrane.org. The Cochrane Library platform and search is currently only available in English, although plans for a multilingual version are being developed. To find a translation, navigate to the English view and select from the available languages listed at the top of the abstract of PLS. Next slide, this is what you will see in how it appears, how a Cochrane review will appear in the Cochrane library. Then in here, you will see there are two languages in the right-hand part of the abstract. There are two languages, English and Portuguese. It means that this abstract has been translated to Portuguese. And if you want to see the Portuguese version of this abstract, you can just click on that. This is how it looks like in the Cochrane.org. In the right hand corner, if you click there is a drop down menu containing a list of languages where Cochrane review has been translated will appear. You see that Bahasa Malaysia is one of them. This is also something which is important, which I think I and Ms. Nila put attention on every entry before we publish PLS, the acknowledgement of your work. I will show you in SmartLink where you can put your name to acknowledge your work as editors. Your name included in the published translation. You will be acknowledged with your name in the translation notes published at the end of each translation. This Croatian example shows the translator's name, Katrina Fushik. Your translation project manager, me, can issue a certificate or a reference after you have reached a certain level of contribution. Okay? We have not really come up to a standard way of giving this certificate. But really, if you have reached probably a certain level of a certain number of editing of PLS, you can ask me and I can issue you a certificate that certifies that you have edited this number of PLS. We're still working on this specific. Right, this is something beyond the translations. Right. So this is the end of the presentation, but I'm going to show you some. I'm going to show you the how it appears in the Cochrane.org. As what uh, here you can see the languages where um, Cochrane review has been translated, and one of them is Bahasa Malaysia. You can click on that. Right. So now we have come up with, we arrive on the Cochrane.org page of Bahasa Malaysia. You can see here that everything here is in Bahasa Malaysia. You can even do in the search engine here, but most likely the search engine will be limited because we only have translated about 200 plain language summary. Uh, if we click here, the full list of what we have translated so far, there are 209 up to now that has been translated. And that 209 are scattered around various subfields of medicine. Okay, right. So now I'm going to bring you to this uh, more guidance for translation editors. A link to this document I will give you as well after this session. Editing and proofreading are essential steps in the translation process. A fresh pair of eyes is usually able to spot mistakes in the translated text that the translator has made. Proofreading compares the translated documents to the original text and ensures everything is error-free. Editing aims to improve the flow, style, and quality of the translation, which can involve rewriting entire sentences if necessary to make sure that text reads well in your language. The text reads well in your language, and that the meaning is correct. So there are two important things here. The text reads well in your language, and that the meaning is correct. The problem, my experience is that the problem is that translators, most of the time, they translate word by word, which will not read well in our language. And sometimes also the meaning may not be that correct. So then what I suggest the editors to do is that not to fix yourself into the word per word translation, but stick to the meaning. Uh, Most of the times you will have to restructure the sentence because in order to convey the meanings, have you have to use different structure of sentence in your language. Right. Who should edit and proofread? Editing and proofreading should be performed by experienced translators who are familiar with Cochrane content. Well, we have not been able to really come up with this, but we are trying really to expand our options about who can be editors. Now, at the first phase of our project, we aim at limiting only Cochrane authors to become editors. But then the number become extremely small. So now what we are doing is that we are expanding the options to uh, uh, medical experts, which are you. It is critical for editors to have the required Cochrane and health expertise to be able to ensure the text content and terminology are accurate. Depending on skill sets, it can also be a good idea to involve more than one person, if possible. At the moment, in Bahasa Malaysia, we only involve one editor for one PRS. Later on, if we have a good number of editors, probably we can use this. Style and flow of the text can for example, benefit from an editor with linguistic and communication background. There are checklists here which you can use when you do your editing, whether you have done all of this. I will give the link to this document to you after the session. Right. So What I'm going to do next is to show you how the editing is done through SmartLink. I believe most of you have acknowledged SmartLink and you all have an account with SmartLink. If no, please just let me know through any means possible, through email or whatever. We can please send to you the link for you to register yourself with SmartLink. This document contains detailed guidance about the use of SmartLink, which I'm going to give to you later on. Uh, what you can see here is actually it will take some time to work. Okay. What you see here is the uh, dashboard of SmartLink. For you who have registered with SmartLink, you'll see this dashboard, but most likely this part you will have no content yet, because that will depend on Ms. Nila or me whether we have assigned a word to you. Whenever we have assigned the word to you, then that word or that PLS will appear in your SmartLink dashboard. What you can see here is in the right hand corner, at the top right hand corner, you will see your name and your role. If you are translators, if you read as translators, if you are editors, if you read as editors, or if you are both translators and editors, if you appear as both. And then another thing here is that this is the project name, the Cochrane Confused Plain Language Summaries. Some of you might work with more than one project, and then you can switch projects here. And then the language indicated here, we are working on Bahasa Malaysia. And then you can see the check boxes here. You can check, uh, sorry, so, it will go back to the, yeah, what did I, okay. I explained about the checkbox. The checkbox here you will use when you want to apply an action to that particular string or translation. Um, there is a term that we are using in this translation work, which is strings and words. Words is words, as what we know it is. But strings can be uh, one sentence or more than one sentence or truncation of sentence. That depends on how uh, uh, SmartLink organized that. This is one string. This is another string. So these strings, what will be these strings will help translators and editors understand that they have to translate or edit to which point. Uh, Basically, the English one has to be matched with the translated version of that. Right. And the steps here, we have the pre-translation step. Uh, this is beyond. My problem and Muslila's problem. But we have translation step, editing, and then approval, and then publication. In the translation steps, meaning that that particular strings or that particular plain language summary is in the translation step. It's being translated by translators. And this is the part that we hope you can work on, which is in the editing step. Strings can go through these various steps. And then once editing process is done, it will go back to us for approval and then get published. Um, Now, uh, many times Miss Nila only assign one PLS for you to work on, which is quite easy to identify in your dashboard. So whatever appear in your dashboard, you can just do that. You can just edit or change or whatever you want to do with that particular strings, with that particular PLS. But sometimes Ms. Nila may also assign more than one PLS. That may give you some confusion on what which strings belong to which PLS. So in that particular situation, you can use the functions of uh, search. You can use the search functions here, and you can type in a CD number, the CD number of that particular plain language summary. A CD number is a unique identifier that will identify a particular field, including everything, the abstract, the full paper, and also the plain language summary. In our case, it is only the plain language summary. For example, here, I've been assigned to edit a plain language summary with the CD number of 000456. So once I search that, it will give me uh, all the it will give me all the entry, all the strings for that particular PLS with that CD number. So yeah. All right, this is the plain language summary that has been edited to me, that has been assigned to me. Here we can see this is assigned to me, and there are 4 strings in here: 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay? And then there are 162 words. This is categorized as a relatively low number of words for a PLS. Some PLS can go up to about 500 words, or even some can go up to 700 words. But I would say, roughly speaking, one PLS will go about half or 3/4 of an A4 page. Right. You can see here also the status of that particular string in editing, which means it is being edited. And then if you click in here, then you will see some functionalities here, and you can also even see a history of that particular string. this history will tell you who have assigned the work to you and who have translated that particular string uh, 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 previously. Right. As editor, you can also even add an issue if you want to add an issue. You can describe the issue in here. You can give your notes about what you think is a problem uh, with the translation. Uh, Most of the time, the editor will just change uh, the language or the wordings. But if they think that they cannot resolve with that, then you can put up an issue there, and it will go back to us, and we will help sort out the problem. All right. And then how to edit the translation. This is the button that you will need most of the times. Edit translation. You can just click this one. If, for example, I want to translate this string. I can just click this edit translation, and a new uh, window will appear. Here we can see that this is the English version of the PLS of the string, and this is the Bahasa Malaysia version, which is a direct translation from here. You can change uh, this one as you like, as you think necessary. Right. And then you can also even have a look here that this functionality also have a machine translation. So this is the part that which have been translated by translator, and this is the translation from machine. Somehow machine translation help translators or editors type less, but machine translators really provide a machine translation. It does not, most of the time it does not give a good style of that particular language or even a correct meaning of the English version. So beware about machine translation. It does help, but it's not all. Right. So if you do some uh, changes, like for example, what I am going to do here, I'm trying to edit something here. So a new button will appear as giving you options to save. So so make sure that whenever you do changes on that particular string, make sure to click save button. And then you can go out of that string. In editing that string, you can go out of the editing string and then move on to the next string and do the same thing again. Right, right. So now another one that I also think is important is that you where you can acknowledge yourself is this part, translation notes. So in every PLS that we assign to editors or translations or translators will have a string containing translation notes. You can see here that it contains information about who has translated that particular PLS, and then you can add your name here by clicking edit translation, and then you can add your role is penyunting, disunting oleh, and then put your university here. That's it. And then click save. Right. Then it's done. Okay, once you think you have done with your editing, you can't, uh, you have to submit your works. The simplest way, you can, you can submit each string if you like what is done here. You can submit one string and then submit group here. Click submit group. Or you can checkbox. You can tick the checkbox at the top, and then click actions, and then click submit to next step, and then it will go back to me and Miss Nila for our checking before it is finally published. Okay. All right. So I think I have covered most of the things that I want to cover. Again, the detailed information about what I have mentioned in today's session, I will also give it all to all of you to email, uh, which you can read later on, and also the uh, link to the YouTube video where you can you can review uh, 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 the session today. You can have a look. You can view again the webinar today. I'm accepting questions now. If any of you will have any questions. Yeah. Prof. Jeffrey is asking if we have list of neuro titles. We do have list of neuro titles. We do also have translations related to neurology or neuroscience, which are ready for editing, which we will assign to you, Prof. Um, uh, the thing is that for translators, you can pick uh, from the list of available PLS, which are not yet translated. But for editors, that will depend on us which translator, which work, which title that we give to you. Yeah, we now at the moment we don't have that full list of PLS that has been translated and pending for editing, but editors will wait from us uh, which PLS we assign to you. If you are not comfortable with that PLS, then you can ask us to unassign from you and assign us other more suitable topic. Uh, the link to that uh, we do have a link uh, that goes to the list of available PLS that has not been translated. Ms. Nila will be able to give you the link, and I think when you join SmartLink, then it is in the same package that we will give you also the link that goes to a list of PLS that has not yet been translated. But again, that is for translators. For editors, you are waiting for job from us. Can more than two persons be involved in the translation process? Two person may be acceptable, but uh, at the moment we really don't have the limit of how many persons should be involved. But that should be something um, uh, reasonable. Like 2%, I think at the moment could be reasonable, but I don't think more than two would be reasonable because it's. I don't think it is a very uh, large document to be translated that requires more than 2% to work on. At the moment, I think 2% is still acceptable. All right. Dr. Zul, do you have any questions that you want to pose? Coach Jeffrey also asked if SmartLink Apple friendly. I haven't had experience using SmartLink with Apple. Sorry, with you mean Apple computer or Apple? I see, or iPhone. Uh, SmartLink is compatible with Windows and Apple. That is for laptop or usual desktop. That's what that's what I know for sure. What I don't know is SmartLink will also work as good as it is on computer as it is on smartphone. That I don't know. But whether SmartLink is working on Apple, I can assure you that it is working on Apple as well. Yes, bro. It is working on Apple computer. Um, right, Dr. Zul, we can only start translation when we have been assigned. Yes, correct. For translator, yeah, for both translators and editors, you can start working when a work has been assigned to you on your SmartLink account, on your SmartLink dashboard. Um, for now, I think for all translators and editors, new ones, what you have to make sure is that you have been registered properly with SmartLink. Um, Sadly, no. Do you have access to Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka Medical Dictionary? No, we don't have it. And I will really appreciate if somebody can help us get access to that Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka Medical Dictionary. And if we can have that um, uh, online, so we can connect that with our system, so it's easily accessible. Thanks for raising this one. I think it's a very good resources if we have it. Are we going to be notified through email once we have been assigned a task? Yes, that's right. An email will go to you when a task has been assigned. Yes, Dr. Zul, the same questions with Dr. Filza. Okay. Um, any more questions? If not, then thank you very much for your participations. Thank you very much again for volunteering to be editors. Um, uh, Sama-sama Prof. Jeffrey, terima kasih. Hope really with the many new editors from USM, we can clear the backlogs as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.